Green, yellow, Arlong. We need to touch on this deck before PRB02 comes out because we're getting absolutely zero support for ya boy. So we're going back to the OP03 leader, Arlong. This is green and yellow card pool, and we're focusing on the slash attribute because I made a video on this before, and I don't think that video was very good. I'm just going to be straight up honest with you guys. I think we can cook up, and I think I've been taking time to actually cook up a better deck list using more, oh, what do we need, how many times, when do we need it, yada yada, whatever. And I took your ideas from the comments and put it actually into the deck profile going off the slash attribute. So to start, we're just going to start with the leader effect as usual. Times 2 Dawn when attacking, rest 1 Dawn. So for a 3 Dawn total, usually you like to go first because on a 3 Dawn turn we can use this leader effect. Play up to 1 character from your hand with a cost of 4 or less and trigger. So the idea is just you cheat out trigger bodies, whether that's in green or yellow, usually in yellow because there's a lot more triggers in yellow, but there's a few in green that we're going to focus on today. We're using the East Blue package, kind of. I was going to try to make an East Blue variant, kind of like the blue-green Sanji Zoros are doing nowadays with the Vanderdecken and all these things, but it kind of just doesn't work with the triggers. Like, there are cards that have triggers that are in those categories of East Blue, but they're not as good. I mean, like, just to give you an example, we have Hotch here, a 2k counter, that's a 4 cost 4k that says if your leader's East Blue type, play this card. Now, we do have the East Blue type, and we can play this card from the leader effect or through the leader's typing, and this does have the Fishman type, so we can discard it from Vanderdecken, which discards 1 Fishman type card from your hand to KO a rested character on your opponent's board. This is strong and all, but I just don't think it's what the deck is trying to do, and I don't think I want to oversaturate the deck with really bad Fishmen just to use 1 card. That kind of works, and it's just okay. So what we're doing instead is running with a slash and kind of East Blue package with Perona looking at top 5 for slash attribute type characters or green events. This is very important because this can look any color of slash, so we can look up like Kikinojo's, Cracker, Nekomamushi, Basil Hawkins. But we can also search out our important events, which you guys mentioned to Tekken, Electrical Luna. All of your opponent's rested characters with a cost of 7 or less do not become active during your opponent's next refresh phase. This is important into matches like Rayleigh, being able to just stop all of those attacks from coming in aggressively, while you can still allow you to put on pressure to your opponent. This card is an amazing tech option. Running it as a 3 of, because I think you need to consistently find it, especially in this meta. Even if you freeze down 1 character, that's 1 less attack as a 4 life leader that you have to deal with. It's basically a blocker without putting a body on the board, while we're also cheating out bodies on the board with our leader effect, so we don't really need to put bodies on the board for this effect. Like, we don't need to run a carrot because for 3 Dawn it's a little more effective. That's 2 more Dawn we can attach to our leader. For 1 rested Dawn we play the character, which is a 4 cost 6k or a 4 cost 5k, and it allows us to be a little more proactive with our leader ability. Then we're running the Dead Man's Game as a 2 of, because we're running 2 Hody Jones as well. I got this idea from looking into more Zoro deck lists, which run 2 Dead Man's Game and 2 Hody Jones consistently. Hody Jones is amazing to put a character on the board, while also allowing us on a 10 Dawn turn to use our leader ability, but Dead Man's Game can also just win you the game. You may rest 3 Dawn cards, rest up to 2 of your opponent's characters or Dawn cards, so that's an activate main, helping us to aggressively get through blockers, basically just resting them or getting through the Dawn of a purple Luffy deck or anything like that. I like this card a lot, and I think it does wonders. It's also a 3k counter as a counter event, so one of your leaders gain plus 3000 during this battle. Defensively, or using it again proactively, it has 2 effects for us that we can utilize very well. Hody Jones has the exact same as the first effect, but it also has rush, so it's a body on the board, while also cheating out characters. Now, there's not really a good rush option we can cheat out that has a trigger. I tried to look into this to give you guys more options, which the one option that did come to mind is actually this Zoro. If you have fewer life than your opponent, this card gains rush, so it can help you to not lose or to win the game in the end, but usually if your opponent just sees you cheat this out. So let's say we're on 0 life and our opponent's on 1 life and we're trying to find a way to go for game and we have absolutely no board and they have blockers, so we activate Dead Man's Game, we rest their blockers, we swing in for 7 with leader, and then we cheat out Zoro. Well, now they just take the attack from the leader, they don't counter out of it, they're at 0 life, we're at 0 life, so now the Zoro no longer gets rushed. So it's hard to utilize this card. It is one card that has a trigger that has rush, so this is one of the cards we can try to find a way to use, but I just don't think it works at the moment. So we don't really have a good rush option other than Hody Jones, and you do need rush in the deck, so you do have to play Hody. Running 4 of the Koshiro, I like this in case we're stuck going second. It gives us something to do, allowing us to just put a blocker on the board that also has anti-removal. With anti-removal, we also are running 2 of the Tashigi for removal-based matchups like blue decks that have Gravity Blade. Black's not really a problem right now in the meta, but basically just Gravity Blade, which really is detrimental to our deck. You need to run Tashigi for this card specifically. Running 2 of the Shimatsuki Kozabura because this is slash attribute searchable, and it rests a 2-cost KOs, a 1-cost that's rested, so you can rest down pesky blockers like the Koshiro if our opponent's playing it, or 1-cost chump blockers that you usually can't deal with. We're running 4 of the Draco Mihawk 2K counter. If you have 2 or less characters, play up to 1 character with a cost of 4 or less with the slash attribute trait, other than Mihawk from your hand rested. So we can do this technically on a 3-Dawn turn. Obviously, we have our leader effect as well we can utilize on a 3-Dawn turn, so you have both sides of it depending on the matchup. You could use this to play out the Arlong on a 4-Dawn turn, I guess, instead of using leader ability, just swing 6 with leader, and then play out Draco Mihawk into Arlong, which Arlong would then stop their leader from attacking because they would attack on a 3-Dawn turn, or to cheat out, Kikinojo. Like, you have options, or this can help you late game to refill your board, which is what I usually want to utilize this with. Obviously, again, you always want to just leader effect first, but in certain matchups, if you need to go wide and aggressive as soon as possible, then instead, go with the Mihawk instead of the leader effect. If you need 2 bodies on the board, this is a lot more apparent in certain matchups. Running 4 of the Hotchon we already went over. It's East Blue, Trigger, and slash searchable, and it's a 2K counter. 3 of this Arlong we keep talking about. You may discard 1 card from your hand. Up to 1 of your opponent's rested leaders may not attack until the end of their next turn. I like this card a lot. It takes off pressure as a 4-life leader. Again, that's what we're trying to do. Assert our dominance. Put bodies on the board while also stopping cards from attacking us. We do this through Arlong, which stops a leader from attacking. Or we do this with Lord of the Coast, which is a 2 of in the deck. Lord of the Coast, up to 1 of your opponent's rested characters will not become active in their next refresh phase. This is nice to cheat out towards the end game. If your opponent blocks out for free from your 7k attack with a Mihawk, well, now that card's not becoming active. Like, you are not attacking me, this card's not coming back, you're just kind of stuck for the next turn. And so it gets rid of a blocker in 2 ways. It can get rid of other pesky cards. It can get rid of a 10-cost character. There's no issue with this card. I like it a lot. I think it's a good 2 of. There are times where you just don't have anything to rest in the early game. That's why it's a 2 of. But I do consistently like finding this card towards the late game. 3 of the Mihawk, restand 4 Dawn, and then you cannot play a 7-cost or higher during this turn. That's perfect for us, because on an 8 Dawn turn we played this. Then we use leader effect, swing 7, tap 1, and then cheat out a 4-cost. So we're putting down the 8-cost, a 4-cost, and swinging in for 7. It's really strong and consistent. I like Draco Mihawk a lot, and it's slash searchable, so we're running it as a 3 of. Running 2 of the Zeus, with us stopping our opponent from attacking with their characters and their leader. I like Zeus. We can take our own life to KO 5 costs that are kind of bothering us. Again, if we can take life but control our opponent's board, that's okay as well. We can consistently use it, but also use it as a 2K counter. It's one of the best cards just in yellow in general. Running 3 of the Crackers, if you have less life than your opponent, this card gains double attack and 1000 power. This can help in the late game if we are behind, so if our opponent is like a Red Rayleigh and they're putting the pressure on us, this can be our comeback piece. We can swing like 3 Dawn on this to swing 9 because it gets plus 1000 power, put them to 0 life, and then swing 11 with leader. That's kind of a way we can get out in some situations, so it's a nice 3 of in the deck. I like it, and it's slash searchable. More slash searchable targets are these other yellow characters that can be cheated out through our leader effect because they all have trigger, just like the Cracker. Kikinojo, if your opponent has 3 or less life, place the top card of your deck on the top of your life on this card's KO. And then if your opponent has 3 or less life, play this card from your life as a trigger. 1 or 2 of the Nekomamushi. This card can attack active characters if you have 2 Dawn attached, which we usually have extra Dawn because only 3 Dawn for leader effect, and then 2 Dawn to attach. We can do this on a 5 Dawn turn if we need to, just to get rid of pesky cards that we want to get rid of as soon as possible. I like it a lot in the deck. It also has the same trigger as Kikinojo. If your opponent has 3 or less life, play this card. For the Basil Hawkins, a lot of you guys didn't like Basil Hawkins in the deck. I don't fully understand why. I think Basil Hawkins is actually just really freaking good. On KO, trash up to 1 of your opponent's top of their life. So it's similar to Kikinojo, but the exact opposite. So it's a 4-cost 5k instead of a 4-cost 6k, but this does have counter, and it trashes your opponent life. It also has a trigger to draw 2 and trash 1. I like this card a lot. It can filter through the deck as a trigger, but you can also just use it. Like, use it and abuse it. You can swing in over and over again. We can go Mihawk into Basil Hawkins, and they just don't want to remove our board because Basil Hawkins getting KO'd is just really bad for them. They just lose life, and with this being such an aggressive deck, I like it a lot. So that's going to be the deck that we're going to be running today for this video. Green Yellow Arlong, near and dear to my heart. I love Green Yellow Arlong. It's a lot of fun. I actually still need the alt leader. I don't have it yet, so if you got one, let me know in the Discord, as the Discord is linked below. Like, subscribe, join the One Piece family. If you subscribe, we hit 5k by the end of the year. We're Vegapunk cosplaying at locals, so I'm excited to see if we can make that happen. We're about to eclipse 6k or 3k right here, so we're going to be doing some fun stuff maybe for 3k, but for 5k, that's a big hurdle, and I would love to see that by the end of the year. I appreciate you guys so much. If you like, subscribe, or anything like that, or if you don't and just enjoy the channel in general, I appreciate you as well. Let's get in some games on the set. This will be a fun deck to test against. I think they want to go second, but we just really like first. And I think Basil Hawkins is just going to be the move. Maybe Luna's going to not be bad either when they play the 5 cost into a 4 cost. We're going to keep this and just pass to our opponent. We're going to see if these Lunas can do work. This is going to be a great testing point because you guys were the ones to bring up Luna and to start using it. So I'm just going to start with leader effect. Of course we're going to use the leader effect. And we could go Cracker, but they're going to take this because they are a blue leader with 5 life. So we're just going to play Basil Hawkins instead because it's going to be pesky for them to get rid of. We do want to find a Tashigi if possible because they could be playing bottom decking in the deck. They get a trigger, I would have been upset. Okay, draw 1 card, makes sense, and then we just pass to our opponent. They're going to be on a 4-Dawn turn, usually on a 4-Dawn turn. They could play the Atmos, actually, and bounce our Basil Hawkins. Atmos has the ability to reveal 2 Whitebeard Pirates in your hand, bounce one of your opponent's 4 costs back to their hand. That'd be pretty good. They leader effect, show us the 10 cost tax gate, put it on the top of the deck and draw 1 card. They play the Atmos, dude, I'm telling you, I read these plays. They have 2 tax gates, so 1 on the top of the deck, 1 on the hand, and then 1 of the Whitey Bay 2k counters, which gives a leader plus 2,000. And then they get to bounce the Basil Hawkins back. That's actually pretty dang good. That is pretty dang good right there. We're going to go ahead and counter this one because they put a little pressure. And then to get 2 bodies on the board, I think we're going to swing 7 and then do the Mihawk. We're not going to leader effect here, and we're going to let that go. We're not running the 3 cost Arlong in this build because I went more on the trigger package, but just know you could be playing that instead. We will play this into the Hawkins now. They don't really want to remove the Hawkins anyways, and pass turn. Now we're going to be able to apply a little more pressure on the next turn, getting 2 bodies on the board instead of 1. They're going to have 6 here. They want to trash a life. I will allow that to happen and trash their life. They could Jozu now, bounce the Atmos back, and then bounce our Mihawk back, but then we can just Mihawk again. And then that's going to set up really good into our Luna. I'm not upset about that. So it looks like that's exactly what they want to do. And again, I'm okay with it. I really am. They're going to go 5 and us. We will take this attack now that they're at such a low life total, but they have a lot of cards in hand. They reveal the 10 gate again, put it on the top of the deck, and draw a card. 5 at us, we will take this attack. We get another Draco Mihawk, which is honestly not the greatest. We're going to Perona first to see if there's something better we can find. I wish this was searchable right now. I think we're going to go with the Kikinojo instead. So what we're going to do here is actually Mihawk first because we'll have 2 or less characters into Kikinojo. Then we'll swing 7 into our opponent, rest a Dawn, and cheat out Cracker. Now if they want to attack us aggressively, that'll be good for us. They counter 2k, 1k, and then that puts us in a good spot with the Cracker, and then pass. So we got a wide board. We have the ability to freeze down their board, which they did a good job controlling from the Jozu, bouncing a character back and doing all those shenanigans. 7 into 6 here. I don't really want to gain a life. I'd rather keep the board. We're going to 2k out of this. I'm okay giving up my hand here. Now they're going to go 6. We already have a strong board, so I think I'm okay just swinging out. If they Gravity Blade here, we would lose our whole board anyways. So I guess we have to save something. It seems like what we're doing in this situation. I think that's the best. Not too sure. So they Atmos. They reveal 2 cards. And we're going to confirm those. They're going to bounce a Kikinojo back to our hand because Cracker has no ability at the moment because we don't have a lower life total than our opponent. So that's okay. We will get Kikinojo back though, which is good. They have 3 additional Dawn after this. I don't know what blue Ace of Newgate plays. The Whitey Bay. 2,000 during this turn. That doesn't really do anything. Makes it into a 7k now, but that doesn't do much. Let's go ahead and Perona, see if we find a Mihawk. Of course we don't. I'm actually not against a Koshiro, but they are going to tax gate us on this next turn. So we need to keep that in mind. Maybe we go with Basil Hawkins. A blocker would be good and counter would be good here. I think we're actually going to put on pressure instead. So we're going to go with the 10 Dawn. They could play it for 9 with Rush. That's the only issue. And it could be the double attacker. So I think we actually go with the blocker here in this situation. So 3 Dawn for Luna to stop the Jozu, 2 Dawn for the blocker. So we're going to start with a 5k poke at our opponent, get 1 card out of their hand. They have 2 Dawn active for the 1 cost event. So now we're going to go another 5. That 1 Dawn does stop our leader effect though, because 2, and then 1. Either we don't, I guess we don't Luna then. So we'll go another 5 at, 3, 2. Okay, so we can go 7 and then 7. That'll be a little better actually, I kind of like that. So we won't Luna this turn and we'll have absolutely 0 counter. But we will have a blocker. And blockers are nice. They use the trigger to not use the rush, which is actually good for us. We'll swing another 7. We'll use the card action, cheat out Kikinojo, and then we are going to play out the Koshiro here. We go ahead and counter 1 cost event, and then they disconnect. I'm confused. I don't know why they did that, but let's talk about what they could have done. Because we would have played the Koshiro blocker, right? So they would have wanted to play the rush. So they'd probably clear board 7, 5. We let both of those go. 2 on here. Then they cheat out the 10 cost of double attack. We block. We have Kikinojo after that. They only have a 2k, 1k, and then a 2k. So we would have probably just split at that point, not really worried about Luna resting the 2 characters because they have the big bodies. If they hit us at all, we get a Hody Jones, which would be even better. They wouldn't have had a 1 cost event, and I think we would have just gone for game on the next turn. So even though they get out of that attack, it would have cost them the 1 card, and then nothing really after that. They would have gotten to draw 2 cards, though. So that would have been a ace and then a 2k, right? So I think we would have been in a really good spot. Sorry to have to give you a game where they disconnect for absolutely no reason, but hey, GG's to our opponent. On to the next one. Looks like we're going to take on Katakuri here, and we're actually going to take second in this matchup especially. So this is going to give us options here. We're actually going to keep this hand as well, because we're going to Mihawk into Arlong. We're not going to do much else. So we're going to Perona early, look at the top 5, and grab. So we're going to spend 3 Dawn. This is not searchable. They're going to be a 5 life. We can take the first attack and then play out the Cracker on the next turn. I think that's the best play. Alright, and then we'll pass. So we could Mihawk and Arlong, stop the leader from attacking, because they're only swinging a 5, right? So we can actually go ahead and give them... They want to play Parasparrow here. So I think we will counter this. I think it'd be greedy not to. We will counter this. I think Basil Hawkins will be better than the Cracker if we're playing out the Mihawk into the Arlong here. So let's just swing 6, because if they're attacking leader, we don't need the 1 Dawn. This only counters for leader, and we want them to attack us. If they're attacking our board, it just puts us in a worse spot. We are going to drop the Luna. We're going to Mihawk into Arlong, discard 1, stop the leader from attacking, so that's going to kind of take them off curve. Into Arlong, use the card action, trash, and stop Katakuri from attacking so they get no leader ability. When they took their first leader ability, they did put the card... I think they put it on the bottom. I actually did not see. No, they didn't even leader effect. Never mind. 8 here. We're just going to let that go. Not much we can do about it, but we did stop their leader from attacking, which is convenient. And then... Do we go 7 into board ever? I don't really think so, because I think they're going to have to attack the Mihawk anyway, so we just pressure face. We're not really worried about the Parasparrow at this point, because we're just going to go 7-7, cheat out Basil Hawkins. I think that's the best here. It is hard to play against this match, because they have 5 life and they are yellow, so they can heal. The healing part is a big issue, so we have to pressure them down as soon as possible. They 2k, 1k out of the attack, and here they could Zeus. Zeus would be really strong into the Basil Hawkins. Yes, they lose a life, but they control our board anyways, and that's kind of what they want to do. So they're going to hit us for 6. We're going to let that go. Then they should leader effect. What 5 cost? So they could swing 8, 9. Okay, 9 in the face. Not getting out of that. They look at their own life, and then they put it on the bottom, so they're just filtering through. We take, we get a Koshiro. Koshiro's fine. They played on another Parasparrow. So would we ever want to Zeus the Parasparrow? I don't think so. I think we'd rather just pressure face at this point. So we could, 4, 3, we could Luna freezing these 2, but I don't think that's worth it. I think we just Luna on the next turn. So... 3 for leader, 1 for DMG just to have it active, 2 on the Hawkins, and then Koshiro. Makes the most sense to me. So we're going to start with the Basil Hawkins attack, 7 into face. Go ahead and apply that pressure we were talking about. They could Kikinojo here. That's actually pretty good. That's going to be really nice for our next playing out that Electrical Luna, though. So we're okay with that. We'll go 7 more into face, use the card action, cheat out another Basil Hawkins. They don't really have a way to control our board well. They don't have that many cards in hand either, so they're probably not going to remove the Basil Hawkins. We're going to go 2 for the Koshiro we talked about in past, so if they do play any removal, we are at least okay because of Koshiro. They go 5 into face here. We will 2k. I don't really want to take that many attacks. We'll take this, and then we will DMG out of this attack, and then block the next attack. They're going 8 for Katakuri, it looks like. So 7 or 8 Dawn for Katakuri. So we'll block out of the 7K. And then now we have the perfect Luna turn. So they trash our life. Draw 1, trash 1. 1, 2, 3, 4. So we're gonna start with 5 in a face. No, because you can't get them down to 0 anyways. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I think we just can't Pero Sparrow here, but we do need to remove this kid. Or we can't Perona, I mean. Because 7 would be 12. I think we go 12 into kid. Not using the card action, sadly. And then we're going to go 5 in a face, 5 in a face. And then freeze the whole entire board. So 5 in a face. Because if they 10 land now and get us to 0, that puts us in a better spot. They won't have the ability to attack anyways. That sucks. 5 more. We'll freeze down all the characters and pass to our opponent. I think at this point, though, they just have it from splitting. That sucks, dude. Unless we get some kind of trigger that I don't know about. Yeah, 10. No trigger. And then they just swing 12. Can't do anything about it. Man, that was still so close. I think just hitting them maybe was the wrong choice, but there wasn't really a way to split on the following turn to get out of it. Katakuri, again, is a hard match, but I think we played it as best as possible. They did have the 0 cost at the bottom anyways. Would have put a Pero Sparrow into life, and we wouldn't have had game anyway. So, GG's to our opponent. That was a tough one. Katakuri, not easy, because they get to manipulate their life, and they have 5 life. So, going wide like that, aggro is difficult. That's what the Luna's there for. The Luna would have put in work, but having that Kikinojo come out kind of sucked. GG's. Blue Green Sanji Zoro, another deck that I really, really like. I've been playing this deck for a very long time, so I kind of know what they're going to be doing for the most part, hopefully. There's a lot of different lists going around. There's more East Blue package, more Slash. There's a lot with this deck, and I really enjoy it personally. This card's going to be very good into this match, so we're definitely going to keep this hand. They choose to go second, so that puts us on our perfect curve. We'll pass early, not much to do. 2 Dawn, they could search her with the Nami from East Blue, so it looks like the East Blue package, that's why they chose second. That's a good start for our opponent here, giving them a 2 cost to bounce back into their hand to continue to reuse. So if you don't know, this card bounces a 2 cost on your board to the hand, and then it allows you to restand one of your characters. We could go 5 in a face. I don't really worry about giving them more cards in hand. I think I'd rather go wide. Then we cheat out Basil Hawkins. And if they want to swing into Basil Hawkins, we're okay with that. We're going to go 5 in a face. I think I am going to Mihawk and get 2 bodies on the board instead of just 1. They didn't attack last turn, obviously, so we're going to go with not using the Arlong, though that will really limit our hand size in general. So if they do attack us, we will take to get our hand size back up to discard a card for the Arlong on the next turn. If they swing into the Hawkins, we may just give it to them and trash their life because they did take the 5K. They Arlong themselves, so that's actually pretty good. They're going to Arlong, so then we're going to Arlong. They're going to go 5 in a face. We're going to do exactly as I said, and we're going to take. Press up to one of your opponent's characters. I might actually use this and rest down the Nami, but this card is really good in this match. We only need 1 card. I don't think it's worth it. I think there's no trigger there. No trigger there. So now we're going to swing 5 into our opponent. 5 into our opponent, and then we're going to play our own Arlong like we talked about. We're going to drop the Toshigi, because I don't think we'll need the anti-removal, and I'd rather have some kind of body to potentially cheat out later. So they won't take that. We're going to go 5 more into our opponent. We're going to apply that pressure that we need to. That's going to stop their Arlong from being able to restand next turn, so it was good that we didn't rest the Nami anyways. It would have been very low value there. Now we'll drop the... They are a blue deck. I changed my mind. On the fly. They are a blue deck. And then we're going to pass. We could have gotten rid of DMG. That was also an option for sure. But we can stop their leader from attacking, so they can't double attack with this Arlong, swing 7, bounce the Nami back, which is really good for us. I mean, honestly, that's just really good in this match. Finding another one would be great. 6 into 4. We're going to let that go. You could save it there. I don't think it's worth it. I don't think there's a world that card is ever worth saving. They could 4 for Cavendish. I think Cavendish would be a really good play here, and then 2 for another Searcher. Weevil's also good. It replaces itself in hand, so just draw 1 on play. It's another 4/6 on the board, especially knowing that we're probably going to pressure the board here. So, we could absolutely just ruin their board. You know, you could DMG into Luna here. I just don't think that's worth it. So 3 Dawn for leader, 1 Dawn for 7, 2 Dawn for 7. I think we're just gonna hit face, because we can stop the clapback pretty easily. So 7 in face, they have 2 Dawn active, which potentially could be something that would bounce the Nami back and go +4, but I don't think that's that good in this situation. They're gonna 2k, 1k out of the attack. We're gonna go another 7 into face. Again, just apply pressure as much as possible. So now we're forcing them to kind of clear board on the next turn, especially with how much pressure we're applying. And if they don't clear board, then the Cracker will kind of get value because we'll go low life, and they won't have the ability to beat us anyways. So we'll go another 7, and we'll cheat out the Cracker. Cracker, I think, is just going to be good. Tashigi would have been nice to play there, which we could have used the 3 Dawn instead and just swung 5, 6, 7. But they'd have a lot more cards in hand. So now they have to counter. Bottom decking our board would kind of suck, because they could bottom deck the Hawkins and the Cracker. We don't really have a way to save the Arlong after that. So we'd be kind of on the back end of the turn, but then we Luna to freeze their entire board. So that puts us in a better spot, though they can just restand one of their characters and get 1 attack out of it, and then replay the Nami to refill the hand size. But I think that would be okay. I will... See, I'm worried about the Gravity Blade, but then that's just a 6 and 6 in a face, which I think is okay. So I think it's actually best to let this go, because we're going to lose it anyways, and we're just going to lose a lot of cards in hand and lose our entire board, because they can't hit the Hawkins. There's absolutely no way they hit Hawkins, because then they just lose. So it's going to be a 6, a 6, and a 6 into face here. Could potentially be a 7-7 on the clapback, so we will have to counter this for 2, just to get through the attack. That's going off them not using the Gravity Blade, which they don't. They use the VV to draw 2 cards, which is really good for our opponent here. They could technically do this twice. So they could 1 Dawn on leader, bounce the VV back. If you have 5 or less cards. Okay, so they'd have to play 2 characters here. They restand the Arlong, 4 Dawn. They're only going to use 3, so they're going to swing 7 after this. So we could get out of a 7 with the DMG, but if they play VV, they could play a blocker. I think we take this. I think we play the character. I think we're okay in that situation. They could put us down to 1, but I think we're okay with that as well. So they play an Arlong, they stop us from being able to attack with our leader. They did pretty good mitigating the Electrical Luna's ability here. But drawing a second one kind of tells me, what if we, what if I just freeze their whole board, you know? They get 3 attacks total after that. Leader, 1 attack, and potentially Nami. So that would be 3, and then 4. So we'd swing 5, 5, 6. Just get cards out of hand. I actually think I'm okay with that. We'll still have a 2k in hand that we won't be cheating out, obviously, because our leader can't attack. So we'll go 5, 5, and the 6. We don't get the extra 1000 power or the double attack, which double attack obviously doesn't matter when your opponent's on 1 life. But I think this is going to be really good, especially knowing that we have 2 Lunas. I think it's going to be very nice. So they give us a 2k that's either telling us they're low on counter or only have 2ks. They take the last attack, telling us they have to go for lethal in this next turn. They Nami, they get to look at the top 5, so now they could potentially have more attacks. They grab a Hotchon. We're going to use the card action, rest, then we're going to Luna the board, and then pass. So takes off applied pressure. We still have a 2k. They could technically go 5 Dawn on Nami, and then swing 7, 9, 9. That would probably be the best line here, is going 7, 9, 9, which would mean we would need a 2k, 1k in life. They go 5. So they want to go 5, 7, 7, 7. Is that better? 5, 7, 7, 8. With the amount of counter we have, that is better. With the amount of resources we have, that is also better. I think they did the correct thing. I don't think there's a card that triggers out. So it's exactly as we said. 7, 7, 7. So we take. Ugh. That's not good. 7 again. They bounce back this Nami to restand the 7k attacker. So we take. I don't even think we run a 0 cost. If we would have had something come out of life to rest the character, or this would have been a 1k. but we only had the 2K there. GG's to our opponent. We had them close. Literally, if we just have one trigger that works there, maybe a draw 2, trash 1. GG's to our opponent, man. That was a close game. A quick game as well. On to the next one. I still feel like we made the right call freezing that board like we did. I think it just happened to be the trigger Nami, and maybe we just shouldn't have attacked in case they did have the trigger. But that was the one card that saved them. Without that, there was no possible way they would have gotten lethal, because then they would have tapped 3 to play out a character or 2, and then they would have had to play an additional character that wouldn't have the ability to attack, so it would have only been it would have been that 7, it would have only been 7, 7, 7, and we had the 2 2Ks after, because we had to use the 1 for the 5K. So 7, 7, 7, we get through that every day. Feels bad, man. Sometimes it just feels bad. We don't really want to Arlong in this. I think we're going to mulligan. I don't like that. I don't like it. Perona, look at the top 5. We'll grab a... I think we'd rather grab a Basil Hawkins and a Kikinojo in this match. I think we want to burn their life, so we're going to play the Basil Hawkins on the next turn. This Lord of the Coast is going to put in work later on, I feel like, because this card is the card they don't want to KO with their 4-cost Hawk. So that's kind of my thought process. They don't really want to take their own life, but they're okay giving us life, I feel like, because they can play into the late game because they get to continuously draw cards. So we're just going to swing 7 at face, use card action, cheat out Basil Hawkins, and that's, again, a card they really just don't want to KO. So kind of works for us. If they do KO it, obviously that's also good because they'll take this life and they'll lose the next life. They should take this, I would think, but they may not. They are running a hand grip version with a Hiyori to set up their bottom life. Interesting enough. Pass to our opponent. Now, I'm expecting a 4-cost Morley or 4-cost Hawk. I don't think there's any other card you really play. Maybe a Lindbergh to draw 1, trash 1. It is the Hawk. They're going to swing 5 at us. We are going to Arlong on this next turn. We'll give them a 2K. I think we're okay giving a 2K there. We're trying to mitigate our hand size at the same time. So that's going to work kind of well for us here to not play into the 6-cost Nico Robin. 6 into face. It's going to cost them a 2K. Obviously swing with the Hawkins first there. We get a Hiyori. We are going to 1 cost to see if there's anything we'd rather play here. The issue with playing Arlong is they just block with the Hawk after because the Arlong comes out first. So we're actually going to go for this Kikinojo. That's going to be way better to play because, again, they can give us life, which we're fine with. We don't hate it. Limits our hand size as well. I think that's the best card in this situation. It's a lot better than the Arlong. We're trying to get this Hawk off early. They might go down to 2 life here, and then 6-cost Nico Robin, then draw a card in the next turn, swinging 5 into our lead, which we're okay with. 1K, 1K, 1K to get out of it is kind of wild, though. I would have honestly just given up the blocker. They do Nico Robin. It has no ability because of how we play the turn. They swing 5 in a face here, which we will actually... I think we will take that. We will take that. I think that's a good take there. So leader effect, 3, and then a 4-cost. So we're just gonna go 5 in a face. Actually, we're gonna swing the 6 first. The reason we're swinging the 6 first is because of Hawk. Now, if they block, that would have put us in a okay spot. If we would have swung 5, then they block and get it KO'd, then KO the Kikinojo. That's actually worse for us technically. So now we're gonna swing 7. Into face. Use the card action to cheat out Lord of the Coast to freeze the Nico Robin. Now they're going to block and KO the Lord of the Coast. That's a 5K attacker. So that's why we cheated out Lord of the Coast. So now we can play a 6K out, use the card action. We're going to remove the Tashigi because I don't think I'm worried. Actually, no. We're going to remove Draco Mihawk, stop the Koala, and pass. So they have no attack from the Nico Robin, no attack from the Koala. Now they're going to 8-cost Dragon into Kuma and gain a life back. But then we're going to go 7, 7, 7, 7. What do you do? What do you do in that situation? They're not allowed to draw a card now. They don't have a blocker on the board. They could play a Nico Robin, but that gets no value. Looks like they can't even play that. So they go with the Hawk instead. So that just tells me, we could Hody Jones here. Yeah, I think we just had it at that point. I was looking at Hody Jones. Hody Jones would have actually kind of won us the game if they didn't counter out of the first attack. But I think we just had him, honestly. I probably wouldn't have Hody Jones though. I would just swung Arlong first. They block and KO the Arlong because they don't want to give us life, or they give us Kikinojo. We gain a life, but they don't lose because Hawkins would make them lose life, which would be bad for our opponent. And then if they block out early, I was going to go big into Nico Robin with the leader attack and not cheat out a body, but just remove the board, which they wouldn't have been able to counter out of. Then they draw into a Perona and a Finger Pistol. They can KO a Arlong, which isn't great. They have only an 8k attacker on the board, and we'd be at 3 life that turn, potentially 4 if they give us a Kikinojo. Then we Hody Jones because they're down 2 after 6, 5, 6, 7, blocking out a 1, and then 1 goes in the body, so they'd have to take one of those attacks. They'd be down to 2 life. We'd still have 1 body on the board, then Hody Jones, then leader attack, 2k in hand. GG's. On to the next one. I think we just have them. Since the games are going so quickly, I'm going to switch up the deck list a little bit here. I'm going to be running 3 of the Arlong instead of 3 of the Crackers. I think that's actually a good change for us. The Cracker can get us the comeback, but also so can Nekomamushi, a trigger out life. Like, so many other things can, and I'd rather have a little bit more consistently here. I think Arlong is great. It's last searchable and gives us Arrested Dawn, so on 5 Dawn we can leader effect and play out a character. So we're going to go with the Arlong here instead. Just because I know you guys are already commenting, why are you not playing Arlong? Why are you not playing Arlong? I'm like, I am playing Arlong. I'm literally playing Arlong. So anyways, I am going to give that to you guys. We're going to play 2 more games and see how they go. Green Zoro. That's all I got to say. Green Zoro here. And I like the searcher early. I like getting Kikinojo on the board, but that's not going to have any value on the first turn. So we're going to have to mulligan that and try to find something better. We don't find anything better, sadly. We could have Perona searched in that first hand and maybe found the Basil Hawkins. Basil Hawkins is really good in this match. Kikinojo's not as good because they would not have its ability as active. They play out the Hiyori, telling me I want to play a body as soon as possible. We're going to swing in for 7. Just cheat out Nekomamushi. Honestly, the best we're getting. So we're going to do that. Cheat out the Nekomamushi. Don't really want to cheat out Hachan here. This is a 2k out of hand. Kind of don't want to lose the value there. This is a pretty bad mulligan. Not going to lie. 7 in the face, they should just take. This is going to give us something to attack the Hiyori. We'll always take that. Now they're not going to be able to Hiyori and Kuina. So if they want to Kuina and attack the Nekomamushi, they'd have to just play out Kuina and do that. And more than likely, they don't want to do that, you know, in this situation especially. So I think we're okay here. There's a few revisions I'd make in PRBO2, maybe the new Zoro blocker that can't be rested for matches like this, because this is a difficult matchup for us. So let's see how we do with a Zoro match, because obviously this is just one of the best leaders in the game. Not much you can do about it. It's so aggressive, it's so strong, and it did win Nats, I'm pretty sure. So a lot of people are running that East Blue package. They're running the Hiyori. I think the Hiyori was played in the East Blue package. I'm not 100% sure. They look at the top 5. They're looking for a slash attribute type character. We're going to have to swing the Nekomamushi into the Hiyori and then big in the face, which is totally okay. They grab a Koshiro blocker here. So we could tap out for 3. I don't love that. We could Kozubura the blocker and then KO the Hiyori. And then continue to apply pressure to face, but we're not really developing a strong board at that point. I think we could Koshiro as well. Just swing 5 and 5. 5 into Koshiro and then 5 into face. That's tough to say. Because we don't have a good target to cheat out anyway, so if we don't get something that's worth cheating out, probably will do that. Kind of depends on what the draw is, so we'll just have to see what that's going to be. They're going to swing 5. We're going to give them a Tashigi here, because Tashigi doesn't have much value in this match. They don't really play removal. We'll give an Arlong. I'm not loving this, I'm not going to lie. I'm not loving this at all. We're going to start with... I think we're going to switch everything up. We're going to start with Arlong, stop the, give Arrested Dawn to leader, stop the Koshiro from being able to rest, swing 5 into the Hiyori. I just don't think this is the play. I think the Kozubura would have been better to swing twice in the face and rest on the blocker. Kind of ignoring it, to be honest. I probably wouldn't have even attacked it. Like, I could have attacked it, but I don't think it would have been the best play. It'd be better if we had an Arlong here. If we had an Arlong here, dude, we're in a great spot. But we just don't. So 7 in the face, they probably take. They could tap 1 Dawn for Dead Man's Game and just get out of the attack for 1 card in hand. I wouldn't think that's a bad play, to be honest. We're going into 7 Dawn. We only swung 7 and they gave us 2k 1k. Okay, that makes sense. I was like, wait, what? Maybe they gave us 2k 1k 1k? Maybe they misclicked. I don't know. Maybe they were lowering their hand size or something. That was kind of weird. I'm not 100% confident in what I just saw. I'm not at all. I thought I said 10,000, but I could be wrong. Hey, misclicks happen. Not much you can do. If we win by a 2K, we know we should have lost. Like, it might have changed the whole flow of the game, but it happens, you know? We all do it. We've all been there. We've all done that. And there's not a go back button. We have not seen that Arlong, man. We don't even have something to cheat out here. I'd love to take an attack into the leader. They could Tashigi, but Tashigi doesn't get much value here. That's the issue. So it's like, what does Tashigi do for you? It rests a character. You want to attack the Nekomamushi anyway, so it's not great value. We want to put the Koshiro onto the board. We could Shimatsu Kozabura as well, just to rest down the Koshiro, but then we lose our whole hand. They DMG. Rest 4 Dawn. Rest both of our bodies on the board. I'm not loving that play. I'm not loving that play. 7 into what? Whatever they attack, I'm just going to let go. I'm not loving that play at all. So I don't know if this is the best game to show the Zoro match. No offense to the player, but I don't think that was the correct line. Blocker, and 5-5-6. Sounds good. That's about all we have in this situation. Not much to do, sadly. I think 5-5-6 is just the move. To get something to rest the character, that'd suck. But it does happen sometimes. It really does. Plus 1,000 to the leader. So I guess we just don't swing Hachan. 6 more. Could get rid of Koshiro. But Koshiro's gonna get rid of himself from blocking. We're not playing any KO anyways, so I think I'd rather just play double blockers here. Because double blockers will just save the board. 100% just save the board. And that restand event, losing that kind of sucks. So, blocker, pass. We were gonna go 5-5-6. Weren't able to. We were able to go 5-6 and then double blocker. Now they're going in 8 Dawn. They can Mihawk, but a lot of people aren't even playing Mihawk anymore, so I don't know if that's exactly what they do. I think we're just kind of winning in this situation. I think just that one really weak turn, like this rest both the blockers, yeah. They can now you can swing 8 into the Arlong, but I think we're fine with that. Again, I don't think that's the move. If at all possible, but of course sometimes in certain situations it is all you have. So it kind of seems like it's all they have right now, and playing through adversity is something you have to do. So no Tashigi's kind of tough. Maybe they're doing a challenge. No Tashigi. Okay. I also don't think that's correct. Like, why rest a blocker to swing into a blocker? Now they swing 8 at us. We get the Hody Jones. Is there ever a world I just Hody Jones? I don't think so. I think it's better off just restanding Dawn. 5 in the face. Again, just applying pressure. Then we're going to go 7, cheat out Nekomamushi, and then we'll still have a blocker on the board. I think that's the best move. We get the blocker, and then we Hody Jones on the next turn since we already have a board. Hody Jones now is just a little much. Even though we rest the Dawn on the blocker, like, it's still not, it doesn't guarantee anything, right? We just go down to 2 life, double restand event, we just lose. Right, with 2K, 1K, they'd be swinging 9-9-9. With only having 2 life, it's not guaranteed. Well, 3 cards in hand, 2 life, because we have to take the life. It's not guaranteed that we can get out of a 9, you know? Especially if they can remove our blocker in any way. So now we have 2 blockers, and I think we're okay. I really do. They take, we're going to go 7 in the face. They should just block out of this one. We're going to use the action to cheat out the Nekomamushi. It's going to give us a body on the board. We can also just always tack into the blocker. They give us the blocker anyways. Makes the most sense to me. Now, DMG into restand does not win them the game, or Hody Jones, and then 8 lead does not win them the game. So there's not really a play line here to lose now that we have double blocker. So I think that is why that's the safest choice. So now even if they do swing in a board for 12, and then we block, and then 12 into board because they restand, they remove 2 bodies, but then we still have 3 and a Hody Jones. Then they swing 12 in the face, we take and potentially get a trigger. So I think we're just ahead. Even without the Arlong here, I think they just had those weak turns of the DMGs, and there's not much you can do. I mean, it seems like they have not drawn very well. I'm going to be honest. It seems like really weak draws. So, like, playing out a Koshiro here kind of tells me there's a little weakness. Especially because we have a Hody Jones, which is something we know and something they don't know. So, of course, that's good for us. It's always good to know. So, we're going to block out with the Koshiro on this next attack. Whatever it is. I don't care. Unless they leave 3 non-active. Then I might just be like, okay. Oh, so we do have a Tashigi out here. Okay, I see you. I see you. Don't swing the Koshiro this time. They rest Nekomamushi. So they're going to go 8, 8, 8. So 8 we just block. And then 8 we block in 2K. And then 8 more they can swing the Mihawk. We lose the Mihawk. So I guess I'd just rather lose the Nekomamushi and take the life. Or wait for the last attack. I think that's the best choice, actually. Just take the last attack. So, let the first card go. Whatever they attack. Right? Unless it's Nekomamushi, then no. It's going to be Nekomamushi. So, we let that go. Right? Then they can restand and swing 8. And then they can swing 8 again. Potentially. If they have the restand event. Of course, that's going off the restand event. See, Luna would have been pretty good there, too. But then they wouldn't even swing board. So, they 8 in a board. Right? And we just block, and they 8 in the face, and 8 in the face we just take, hoping for a trigger. If there isn't one, we're just going for game. Take. Not even gonna use it. Not even worth it, because we're gonna Hody Jones anyways. So Hody Jones, rest. 5, 5. 5 gets 1 card. 5 gets 1 card. 8 gets their life. 8 gets their life. So 5 more. Probably should have swung one of the 8s first, actually, now that I'm thinking about it, because they do get a trigger like a Luna trigger and rest our character. Now we'd be in a pretty bad spot. Because if they did get a 2K here in the hand, then it would only be 6. And then 9. 9 is guaranteed. And even if they did have a 1 Dawn active somehow, even after a Hody Jones, we'd still have the game. So, GG's. That was an interesting showing from the Zoro. Again, I think, we look at their hand and what they had, it kind of was just really weak. The carrot was nice, but I would have played that down way earlier, so they must have gotten that out of life. Interesting list here. I just don't think it was performing. Not finding the Tashigis was really good for us. Not finding Kuina was really good for us. Honestly, I can't even talk smack because it was just a bad pool for the Zoro. I'm a very transparent YouTuber. I'm very honest with you guys. Horrible pool for the Zoro. Bad pool for us as well. So we both pool bad. We still win. GG's to Zoro. That was a good game in the end. Final match, purple. We have not touched on purple yet today, so I think this is going to be a good match to end it off, especially knowing how aggressively they take life, how aggressively we put on pressure. I think it's going to be good going both ways. We're going to keep this because we're going to Koshiro early. You could Perona there, but we can Perona on the next turn and leader effect, so we're okay not doing that. They're going to swing 5 on us. We will go ahead and give them a 2K counter, and then we'll swing pretty heavy. They played the Bon Clay, ramping, yada yada, whatever. We already know what we want to play, which is going to be the... I think we'd rather go Basil, right? Because they never want to get rid of Basil. Basil is horrible for them. So we just get to go 7 in the face, use hard action, cheat out Basil Hawkins, because now it's only a 5K attack coming in from the Bon Clay if they give us the Bon Clay. And if not, that's okay. We're going to Perona, look at the top 5 for a slash attribute character. Arlong's going to be good if they play Sanji, so I'm actually going to grab the Arlong because we already have a Kikinojo to trigger out. So we'll be on 6 Dawn. We can Arlong and swing 6, 7, and cheat out a character and put out the Arlong. Pass. So if they choose not to give us Bon Clay, that's okay. If they choose not to attack yet, they go with the Sanji instead. That's going to rest down our Koshiro. 5 into 1. We're going to let that go. Do they give us the character? They do not, so we take. We will use the trigger to get out of Kikinojo on the board. It's pretty good for us. Now, Arlong stop Bon Clay after we get the rest at Dawn. We would have swing 7, cheat out of Kikinojo. So we go with a 5 in the face, 7 in the face, 7 in the face. 7 in the face. And 7 more. Cheat out of Kikinojo. We're sitting on a ton of counter. We stop this from attacking us. So the Bon Clay has gotten absolutely 0 value. It's not going to get value out of big characters anyways because we don't play big characters. They're going to 9 Dawn, so they can 9 cost Luffy. They Luffy Taro instead. Dawn -1. Cheat out Sangoro. Sangoro's pretty good here. But they kind of gave us their whole plan. So we will 2K out of this because we want to keep this board. This board is strong. 6 more. We're going to 2K out of this. This board is strong. Mihawk. 4 Gum Gum Giants. Holy Nikes. GG's Purple Luffy, but 4 Gum Gum Giants is crazy sim shuffling. They would have gotten 2 2Ks though, so they wouldn't have even lost. Legitimately, they would not lose there and probably just go for game on the next turn. We would have gone. I was planning on going Mihawk off the top deck, honestly, restand 4 Dawn, and then just swing, 5, 7, 7, 7. I think is the math there, and then they wouldn't have any rush. It looks like other than Fernosuke, they have a Trafalgar Law. They could look at the top of the deck, grab something potentially with rush. Or a Nami blocker. They just swing 7, 6, 8, 8, 5, 10 Dawn, 4 Gum Gum Giants. They just leave up 3 active and just go for game on the clapback after. Honestly, there was potential there for them to win if we did that. If we didn't just go for game on that turn. If we went for game, I think we would have been in a good spot, but I think we'd swing first and go after. Swing 7, see what they decide to do. If they take the 7s, then call it a day. I don't even think we need a Mihawk in that situation. GG's, that was a really quick game. After that testing, I think the Arlong is clutch. I think that 3-cost Arlong is definitely needed as a 3-of in the deck, similar to my Jinbei list. I think it's a good 3-of in the deck. I really enjoyed playing Arlong, as always. I think this deck list was a lot better, and I think I know the deck a lot more. I think it's more consistent, and I think it's built more into a competitive meta, playing 2 and 3-ofs, as you usually see some of these YouTubers put everything as a 4-of and a 2-of. That does not actually work in a meta format. So I try to make these off meta decks a little better for you guys. I hope you appreciate that. I hope you enjoy watching as always. I appreciate you watching. So like and subscribe so we can get to 5K subs by the end of the year. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.